Happy November, everybody, and welcome back to the 12th Horseshoe Podcast live on Surge Sports TV and the 12th Horseshoe Podcast YouTube channel, alongside my partner Eli Weintraub, Jack Rizzo, back with another episode. 12th Horseshoe Podcast, sponsored by Proven Italian American Deli in Moonachie, New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us on this first day of November. Eli, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's November. It's Friday, and it's the weekend. That's all that matters. And don't forget to set your clocks back 1 hour this weekend.
That's right. So let's just get right into it, Eli. Week 9. Now, before we get into our Week 9 picks, we have to recap a game that happened last night at MetLife Stadium. The New York Jets, with one of the biggest upsets of the season, defeated actually, the Jets were favored. Never mind, it wasn't an upset, but
It wasn't an upset, no.
I would consider it an upset. The Jets beat the Texans by a score of 21-13. The Jets, with their third win of the season, they snap a 5-game losing streak. Eli, the Jets looked good yesterday. Their defense played well. Aaron Rodgers made some good throws out there. Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams both had solid games. And I'm just still not buying into this Houston Texans team right now. We both had the Texans last night. We were both wrong. And Eli, after a loss like that, where do the Houston Texans go from here?
Honestly, you're looking at it, it was a weird, crazy game because you got to look at it. The turf definitely won the day in select injuries. Like, yes, there was definitely a period of time for both sides of the ball. So you got to give credit to the turf. They won the day in reality, for regardless of the New York Jets. Second thing I want to point out is the amount of opportunities. There was opportunities left and right. There was a fumble inside the end zone for the New York Jets that could have been in the Texans' favor. But at the same time, too, is look at last year. Even with a very good, very hot team, they still managed to lose that game. The Houston Texans being in MetLife Stadium. So saying the first time this has happened, maybe won't be the last, but the Texans will be able to bounce back without any issues. I think it was just a rough day and a rough night in Jersey for them.
I'm not as optimistic, Eli. The Texans have played really bad the last 5 or 6 weeks. Even when Nico Collins was healthy, they were struggling on offense. I think it's just a bit of a sophomore slump overall for Houston. Maybe they overachieved a little bit last year, and they have a very tough game next week against Detroit on Sunday Night Football.
Absolutely.
So we'll get to that next week. But yeah, big loss for the Texans, and as for the Jets, a win, it keeps them alive for now. I mean, we'll see how long they stay alive for after this. I'm not really sure much longer. But hey, at least they could get one win. At least their season's not over just yet, although it probably will be soon. All right, let's get to our Sunday afternoon picks. There are two teams on bye this week. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers are both on bye weeks this week. So 1 p.m. on CBS, we have an AFC East matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. These two teams have had some great matchups the last couple of years. Buffalo, though, nearly a touchdown favorite at home. Miami has really been struggling this year. Even in the games where Tua has played, they have not looked very good. They're just struggling to move the football on offense, and their defense has been very underwhelming. Even though they've had injuries, they still haven't really played very well. Eli, this game is in Buffalo. The Bills have looked really strong the last couple weeks after a 2-game losing streak. I'm going with the Bills to win here 32-21. I think they get a big home win here over the Dolphins. How about you?
I see the Dolphins are coming off of a loss and it hurts. For the Buffalo Bills, they're in this wishy-washy situation. Yes, they're right now doing good and they're getting wins, but at the same time, they started off with a little bit of a slumpy start. So I think they're now going to be able to bounce back and get a win, but don't be surprised this game is close. I'm going to go with 26-21 the final.
All right, I respect that. Next up, we have a very interesting one to watch out for. 1 p.m. on CBS. This is the national game for CBS this week. The Denver Broncos traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Now, Eli, we talked about this on All In on High School Sports last night a little bit. This might be the biggest game that the Denver Broncos have played since Super Bowl 50 when they were playing the Carolina Panthers. The Broncos have really surprised this season. They're 5-3. That defense playing well. Bo Nix has had some good moments. What are you expecting before you make your pick? What are you expecting from the Broncos in this game in a tough atmosphere against the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, this game is in Baltimore, so that's going to be factor number one. Number two, Lamar Jackson has now been cleared to play, but he was battling a little bit of injury. Practice has been off, so we know this Ravens team is not going to be at its 100% level that we're usually seeing the Ravens at. For the Denver Broncos, they're coming off of a win But this win coming, if they can get a win this weekend, they need to show that they can win big. That's going to be the ultimate question, ultimate key here. Can they win big? We're going to watch out for the offense. We're going to watch out for the defense. I expect this to be a good game. I see the Ravens coming out, however, with the victory here, 29-28 the final. But don't get me wrong, Broncos will be in it to win it. And if they do win, I'll be glad to be wrong because then it'll prove 100% that the Broncos are for real.
Yeah, I love everything you said was very true. I think you give a perfect analysis of what the Broncos have been so far. I think these next two games, are really going to decide what this Broncos team really is. They play at Baltimore this week, and then they play at Kansas City in Week 10. I agree with what Kurt said last night. I think this is the toughest game they play all season against Baltimore. I think they can play with Kansas City. I think they can play with some of the other teams, but this Ravens team again. But I said it the other night. Lamar Jackson has never lost to a rookie quarterback in his career. And you look at the Broncos' 5 wins. Even though they have 5 wins, really none of those wins have been against good teams. The only good team they've really beaten is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a very impressive win. But the Broncos have struggled against the better competition. Now, Eli, I definitely think that the Broncos can show a little bit in this game. I mean, I really like the way their defense has been playing, but I just think Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to have a big game here. And I think the Ravens defense is going to have – the Ravens defense has struggled this year. I think they're going to come to play against a rookie quarterback. So I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win 23-13 at home. By the way, Eli, the Ravens are a 9-point favorite this week. I think that's a little disrespectful to the Broncos, but I like the Ravens here in this one. Next up, we have an NFC East matchup, 1 p.m. on Fox. This is actually a game that I'm going to be at there at MetLife Stadium between the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. Of course, the Commanders last week, Eli, had that miracle Hail Mary touchdown by Noah Brown to beat the Bears. And, the Commanders, easily the biggest surprise in the NFL this season at 6-2. Meanwhile, the Giants are they look absolutely horrible right now. They're on a 3-game losing streak. The offense can't move the football. There's injuries on the defensive side. I'm going to make this short and sweet, Eli. I think the Commanders win this game, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a blowout as people think. I think the Giants defense has actually played well this season, and I don't know if Jaden Daniels is still 100%. So I'm going to take the Commanders to win, but I'm going to go with a bit of like a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 17-9, but that Washington defense is very underrated. I think they're going to.
Well, we've got to keep in mind one thing and one big factor here: the Giants kicker is ruled out for this Sunday. The practice squad kicker will now be coming in. That's another key part that we don't give a lot of credit to. The kicker is a very important part to this team. Will this practice squad kicker coming in be helpful for this Giants team in getting them points or not? Because obviously we know he's not had a touchdown at MetLife Stadium in forever. So how well are we going to rely on this kicker? And now I put this up there because we know the Giants are going to be scoring any touchdowns because that's just the Giants lately MLA same. If they do, it's a miracle. Good for them. But we do need to keep in mind, it's going to come down to what does this kicker have in store? It'll be his first big test in the NFL. I'm still taking the Commanders, though, after that big win. They're going to be still hot, 22-15. But watch out for the new kicker for the Giants.
Does Daniel Jones throw his first touchdown pass at MetLife since he signed that contract? He's not. Do you think he gets benched in this game? How about that?
He won't be benched in this game. Expect the next game to be benched.
Okay,
if they
agree.
lose. If they lose. If they win, that's a different question for Tuesday's show.
I think this is going to be a close game, and I think because of that, he's not going to get benched. But next week definitely is a possibility for Daniel Jones. I don't really think he has much time left.
But again, it really also depends on the kicker and how much he does. And I know a factor in is if he can't get touchdowns, but his kicker can do the work, it's going to help him factor in. So let's keep that in mind as well.
Absolutely. Next up, Cowboys-Falcons in Atlanta, 1 p.m. on Fox. Atlanta, of course, was just announced as the host of the Super Bowl in 2028, I believe. It might be 20. I think it's 2028, and the Super Bowl will be in Atlanta. The Falcons are the favorites here in this game. Eli, the Falcons are a team I really like, but they're also a hard team to pick. They've won 3 of their last 4. They look good doing it, but that one loss they had, they got blown out by a Seattle team that has just not looked very good at all since that 3-0 start. So it's really hard to assess where the Falcons are right now. But I just think with the way the Cowboys defense has been playing, with all the weapons the Falcons have on offense, and I think the Falcons defense is finally going to have a good game this week. That defense is way too talented to play the way that they've been playing. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons here at home to win this game. But I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say 26-23. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to win this game.
The Eli score. All right. Well, we're going to go with the Falcons in the victory, 30-17.
Okay. I definitely think that's possible. I just think the Falcons, with the way they play, they like to keep things close. So that's why I'm going with a bit
Lately
of
with the
a
Cowboys, I don't know.
yeah. We'll have to see. But Raiders at Bengals, 1 p.m. on Fox. You can maybe call this the tank bowl if you want. The Bengals are 7.5-point favorites. Eli, honestly, it was so
Short and
tough, Eli,
sweet.
to pick. It was tough to pick games this week. Honestly,
It
you
was. I
know,
ain't gonna lie.
and honestly, this is probably my most unconfident lock of the week that I've picked in my entire time on this podcast. But because the Bengals are home and because of how that offense has been playing, the Bengals defense should not have a hard time against Gardner Minshew. So Bengals are my lock of the week, 20-13. I'm taking Cincinnati, even with no T. Higgins.
That's risky. That's all I could say. Risky. I don't think that's considering the way the Bengals been playing lately, that's a risky lock, Jack. Just want to put that out there. But good luck. Risky choice. But for me, I'm going to take the Bengals 22-21. But don't be surprised the Raiders come out and try to win this game well. They've been struggling, so is the Bengals, but don't be surprised.
All right, next up, we have a game. Oh, I lost my spreadsheet for a second. All right, 1 p.m. on CBS. We have the Saints at the Panthers. Maybe actually this is the tank bowl. I said a different. I said the Raiders Bengals was no. This is the tank bowl. This game it's in Carolina. The Saints are a touchdown favorite, but you know what? I'm actually going to go with the Carolina Panthers here. I believe this is the first time I've picked the Panthers to win all season. But you know what though? I thought Bryce Young had a solid game last week. I thought he looked good after the benching. The Panthers defense played somewhat well last week. And the Saints they have nothing right now. They have no offense. They can't move the football. The defense has started to struggle the last couple of weeks. So at home, I am taking the Carolina Panthers, but a low score game, 13-12. I have no clue who's going to win, but I like the Panthers at home. First time I'm picking them all season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Panthers here in my upset pick of the week, 15-10. The Titans have really been struggling, and I think the Panthers are going to be the better team in this game. Is that sad to say? The first time I actually have to say that they're going to look like the better team, and they're going to get the upset and win here, 15-10.
Yeah, I believe that's the second time you've picked the Panthers
Against
this
the
season. So
Saints. Sorry, they play Saints. I said Titans.
Oh no, that's all right. Well, actually, speaking of the Titans, that's our next game, Eli. The third straight tank bowl game we have here. Patriots at Titans, 1 p.m. on Fox. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite here, Eli. This is a tough game to pick. I don't know if Drake May is going to be back this week for the Patriots. It doesn't look like he's going to be, but to be honest, Eli, I thought the Patriots showed a lot of stuff last week. You know, they beat the Jets. I mean, the Jacoby Brissett drove them down the field at the end of the game. Tennessee's defense had an awful performance last week, giving up 52 to the Lions. I had no clue, Eli. Maybe it's risky with Drake May possibly not playing, but I'm taking the Patriots to win 14-13 on the road.
You see, this one's also another risky game to pick, but looking at both these teams, the Patriots got lucky last week with the Jets. So I feel like the Titans are going to get the victory here. So I'm going to go with the Titans on this one, 22-16, and a surprise pick for me.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That is a tough one. Next up, Chargers Browns, 1 p.m. on CBS. LA is favored by 2. Of course, the Browns won last week. Their second win of the season. Jameis Winston had a huge comeback performance through 4 touchdowns. The Browns got the last second victory. I think Jameis is a really solid player, Eli. I think he's going to do some good things. That offense looks so much better, but I really like this Chargers team. The Chargers have played well. Their defense is really solid. Justin Herbert has played very well considering that he doesn't have many receivers to throw to, but Ladd McConkey is really starting to grow. It's that top option for that Chargers offense. I think they keep the momentum going this week, Eli. I'm taking the Chargers to win 20-17 in Cleveland.
I'm going to take the Chargers in the victory here, 24-20.
Okay, let's move to the late window now. Jags-Eagles, 4:05 on CBS. Of course, this was the original Sunday Night Football game for Week 9. It was flexed out. Eagles are a 7.5-point favorite here, Eli. Yeah, the Jaguars have just not played very well. They actually played well last week against Green Bay, but this game is in Philadelphia. I am not picking against the Eagles here. Give me the Eagles to win 30-13. That offense has really started to find its groove the last couple of weeks, and I like the Eagles in the victory.
You see, looking at both these teams, the Jaguars, they've been struggling. They've been struggling a lot. And you look at the Eagles, they're lucky to be winning, and they're going to get a big win here, I feel, this weekend. So I'm going to take for my lock of the week, the Eagles, 28-20.
All right, next up, Bears at Cardinals, 4:05 on CBS. Arizona actually the 1-point favorite, but you know what? I don't think it's crazy. The Cardinals have won 3 of their last 4 games.
I know.
That offense looks really solid. Kyler Murray's done a good job there, and they've had back-to-back last-second victories. And the Cardinals are just a team. They know how to rally. They know how to play. I like the team that this Cardinals team that they've assembled, and I think there's going to be a lot of support for them back at home. I think their fans are really going to show out. Now that the Cardinals look like an actually good team, they're in first place right now in the NFC West. And
Right.
I just think the Bears have had so many struggles on offense. Their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, who is the former Seattle offensive coordinator, has not done a very good job there. And I like the Cardinals here at home. I really do. I'm taking Arizona 20-23. Again, I had the Cardinals winning 9 games. I said that before the season started. I think it's a real possibility now. So give me the Arizona Cardinals at
See,
home
both
here.
these teams are going to be tough and looking for a win. I mean, the Cardinals did come up with a big win last week, but again, it came down to the end. So I feel like it could come down to the end here. But I'm going to take the Bears in the victory here, 24-22. I think they're going to get a big win here.
All right, let's move on to
Not a
the
big win, but yeah, big win against Cardinals. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, let's move on to America's Game of the Week, 425 on Fox. Big NFC North matchup. This is a huge game at Lambeau Field. Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers for first place in the NFC North. Jordan Love, it looks like Jordan Love is going to play through the groin injury. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites here, Eli. I know the Lions have dominated the last couple weeks. I know with the way the offense is looking. I know everyone's high on the Lions right now, Eli, but this game is at Lambeau Field, and the Packers should not be overlooked. Everyone's talking about the Lions right now. Do not underestimate the Packers. They're 6-2. That defense is playing really well. And that offense, we got Jordan Love, you got Josh Jacobs playing well. All the great receivers they have. Tucker Kraft has been one of the best tight ends in the league this year. There is not a single weakness, Eli, on this Green Bay team. Now, you can say the same thing about the Lions, but I just love the way this Packer team plays. Great coaching staff, great quarterback, great defense, great weapons. So give me the Green Bay Packers to win at home 27-24 for first place in the NFC North. And Eli he seemed a little questionable about the pick. Let's see where he goes with this pick.
I'm taking the Packers 26-23 in my win here. But it's going to be a great game because, listen, you got to look at the Lions side. They're going to be hungry. They're going to want to win, and they're going to be in Lambeau. I mean, I know I'd pick the Packers to not have a great season, but I think they're going to come out with the victory. I don't know. I just don't see – I see the Lions missing it like a field goal. I mean, we see a lot of last-minute field goals for the Packers lately, so it could come down to last-minute field goal. So I'm going to go with the Packers in the victory here, 26-23.
All right, another game at 425 on Fox. This is Eli's America's Game of the Week because it involves his team. Rams at the Seahawks.
Not really. We're going to lose.
In Seattle, well, there's a little spoiler. Seattle's favored by 1 here. But I agree with Eli. I think the Rams last week, I mean, they had a great performance against Minnesota. They got everybody healthy again now. I said it a couple days ago. The Rams are the sleeper team in the NFC right now. I think the Rams can win this division, and I think they can go as far to make a Super Bowl run. So give me the Los Angeles Rams to win 34-22. In Seattle, I think Matthew Stafford's going to have a big game, and Eli doesn't agree with me. Let's see why. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, I'm picking the Rams to win 32-18, but I disagree on your statement there that they're going to be a sleeper team to win the NFC and go far. I don't see that at all. I mean, this is
Why not?
This is a team that struggles with injuries. I just don't see it happening.
Everybody's healthy now, though.
I know, but I don't see it though. I feel like they're going to still fall short.
Well, can you give me like what I need more of? Like, do you think Stafford's washed? Do you think the defense isn't good?
I think that,
or is the NFC have too much competition?
Yeah, well, there's like multiple factors. The schedule is going to be, right now the next 4 games are going to be like Rams. They're the Rams, Eagles, Patriots, Saints, Dolphins, all light teams. Then you go into difficult mode. You take on the Bills, you take on the Niners, you take on the Jets, which could be good later on. I mean, right now they're off to a struggle start, but that's later on in the season. They close out with Arizona and Seattle, who could be fighting for a playoff spot. You got to look at the schedule. That's going to be a factor. I feel like Stafford is going to start winding down. He's going to start slowing down. And I think there's, again, a lot of competition in this NFC. The Packers, the Vikings, the Lions. Those are 3 teams I just named that are going to be hot. The Commanders, they're looking good. Eagles could slightly catch a spot in there. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys, if they could start winning the next couple of games and don't get a loss here and there. And then you have teams like the Buccaneers, who's got to clinch in it. And then you got Seattle, who's going to be strong. You might have to minus out San Francisco at this point, and watch out for the Arizona Cardinals. Could they be good? So I just do not expect them to go and have this magical run to the end.
Do you think the Rams can win the division, though?
Could they win it? There is a possibility. I don't think so.
But listen, Eli, there's a difference between the Rams and the rest of the teams in the NFC. The Rams have a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback. If you have those 2 things, you can win anything. We have seen that the last couple of seasons.
And you could also lose just as quickly.
Yeah, that's
Keep
true.
that in
But
mind.
with the experience, I mean, Sean McVay, I think he might be the best coach in the
I
league
don't.
right now. He might be. He might be. I'm not sure. It's close. He's
I
second
don't
best.
know.
He's second best if he's not number one.
All right. Well, let's
What?
move along. Let's go along. Next game.
Well, I like this conversation. I was just gonna
Okay.
finish it.
Okay. Go ahead. Go
But
finish
yeah,
up.
I was gonna say I think Sean McVay is either first or second. I know Andy Reid's there, but considering what Sean McVay has to work with in Los Angeles, I think it's honestly a little more impressive than what Andy Reid is, especially for how young Sean McVay is. Sean McVay is he's still like the third youngest coach in the league, even though he's been around for nearly a decade. So I just really like the Rams. I think they're going to be a good sleeper team. By the way, the Rams are also my survivor pick this week, and the Packers are my upset pick of the week. I forgot to mention that. Next up, Sunday Night Football on NBC.
Good takes. Go Seattle, by the way.
Okay. Colts at the Vikings, 8:20 on NBC. I'm honestly sad this game got flexed into Sunday night because we're gonna get embarrassed. Vikings.
Well, I don't know about embarrassed. You now have a good quarterback in store. Let's start there.
No, Eli.
Listen, you have Joe Flacco over Anthony Richardson in a heartbeat, and everybody who's watching can comment this.
Joe Flacco's a good quarterback, or Joe Flacco's better than Anthony Richardson, Eli, but that does not mean he's a good quarterback. He's just better than Anthony Richardson. He is a good quarterback.
Watch him keep this game close. Watch him keep this game close, Jack.
Eli, he barely beat the Titans. Do you think he's going to beat the Vikings? Absolutely not.
Yes.
Vikings
Look what he did last
year. Wait, Eli. Let me make my pick. Vikings win 38-10. Final score. 38-10. Give me the Vikings.
Worst pick of the night. Worst pick of the day.
38-10. The Colts get blown out by Minnesota.
The Vikings are good. They're going to get a victory. Give me the Vikings 27-24. But they're going to keep it close, so the Colts. They're going to keep it close. Why do your issue is, Jack, you're saying it's the quarterback. They switched it. Joe Flacco, I think, is going to do good. Look what he did with Cleveland last year.
And it's
Look what that run led to. Well,
here's the thing, Eli.
Now you switch the quarterbacks. There is a potential, Jack. There is potential. Yes, there might be struggles on the defense, but there is potential. Don't get me wrong. Expect this game to be close, but give me the Vikings in the victory, 27-24. Expect this game close.
The Colts don't have nearly the talent that the Cleveland Browns do. The Colts are just not a good team.
Look at the Browns this year, though. Let's factor that in.
Don't look at the Colts 4-4 record. They are just not a good football team. They've beaten a lot of really bad teams. That's why they're 4-4.
But they kept it close, though. It's not like they lost by 50 points like the previous teams that I can go on the list, like the Jets, the Cowboys.
I mean, to be honest, Eli,
to be honest with you, they're still a good team. Yes, they've been struggling. Yes, but they also kept the games close. They have not blew out these teams. That's why I'm saying there is potential in Indianapolis. I think you're giving too much hate on them.
I mean, I watch all the games. I know how the Colts play. They're going to get absolutely embarrassed. Actually, I was considering make this even more of a big score. I was thinking like they win by like 40 points, but I had to be a little nice, I guess, because I am a Colts fan.
I think Jack does that, so then when he says negativity, then they win. I noticed that.
Maybe it's a reverse jinx, but I won't be saying if it is or not. That's for you guys to figure out. Let's move on to Monday Night Football. Chiefs at Bucks, 8:15 ESPN. KC's favored by 9. No Evans, no Godwin. They're playing against the best defense in the league right now. Give me the Chiefs 28-19 at home.
Not just that. Patrick Mahomes, 30,000 passing yards. Even with so many injuries, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs and still winning games. They're going to win this game 30-21. Expect Buccaneers to put up some points, and that's my survivor pick of the week.
All right, that's going to do it for our Week 8 picks here on Surge Sport, here on the 12th Horseshoe podcast on Surge Sports, presented by Prova. Join me tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Surge Sports TV for the St. Mary Senior Day against Immaculata at home in Rutherford, right here on Surge Sports TV again. Next Tuesday will be a double show. We'll be making our Week 9 picks, our Week 9 recap, and our Week 10 picks. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about that on Tuesday. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Join Eli tomorrow morning tonight. I'm sorry, at 7 p.m.
7 o'clock.
Tonight at 7 p.m. on Sports with Mano, right? So thank you so much everyone for watching. Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub.